Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of the film The Interview. And basically, of the highly controversial and highly talked about, all type of stuff is totally needed. And after finally seeing the film, I'm here to give you my thoughts when I think of it. And basically, the story is basically James Franco and Seth Rogen are together, are great friends, and they're kind of like produced. And Seth Rogen is the producer of the show that James Franco is the main star of. And after a few episodes they hear that the Korean leader Kim Jong-un is actually a big fan of the show, and they're like, "Oh wow, we get to interview him, we get to meet him. Oh great!" But somehow the CIA comes in contact with them, and they're like, "You know what? Take this as an advantage, and we're trying to kill him." And basically, it's kind of like a staged up idea for it to be built up to the angle of, like, essentially being an assassination attempt on him. And basically, hijinks and comedy ensue. Honestly, when I heard about this film, I'm just like, and with all this type of stuff being built and talked about behind it, I'm just like, you know what? In the end, this film better be damn worth it, because I'm a big fan of Seth Rogen and James Franco. And is this film a good comedy? I'm gonna say somewhere in certain points I can see a sincerely good comedy. In other parts, not too much. Now let's start with the good things. But first off, the premise is interesting. And when I heard that's the premise, I'm just like, who the hell doesn't want to see that? We've seen that in Hollywood, talked about before. There's like 30 Osama bin Laden, and then with so many, like Team America World Police, and so many other people. And hell, going back to the Charlie Chaplin days where he played as Hitler. It's like, taking insult on certain controversial leaders is not a big issue. And this being talked about in this certain angle at this certain time is not a big deal. And it's like, we've done this before. So what makes you? I'm sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. But let's start with the good things. Number one, the story I did feel like was really interesting. And when I heard it for the first time, I'm just like, okay, that seems funny. I'm totally up for that. And it does show a good amount of potential there, and the acting is actually really solid. I'm gonna say everyone in this movie is actually really, really good. James Franco is really great. In this film, like with James Franco and Seth Rogen films, I always think James Franco is a better standout. But in this film, I think Seth Rogen, in my opinion, is actually better. And in this film, a lot of people say James Franco is actually better, but I personally thought Seth Rogen was much better. I thought it was much more had that normal type of reaction, where James Franco was much more out of balance at times. And I thought that strange, straight-faced humor worked incredibly well for him, and he was great in the movie. Also, the writing was really good. There's a lot of good dialogue and a lot of great jokes that I did genuinely laugh at. Also, I'm not telling anyone out there how I saw this film, because you know what, it's very, very limited in certain areas, and I'm not telling you how I saw this film. But also, I don't know why I say that. But also, the actor who plays Kim Jong-un, I actually thought he was actually very good and very, very respectable in his acting chops. He's like, okay, this is a highly regarded man, and I want to represent him honorably and respectably, but also bring a lot of likability and charm to this character, and he does. I do apologize for the actor who did play him. I just forgot your name for the moment. But the person who played Kim Jong-un in this film was actually really good. He really had this big baby persona towards him, and I thought it was really great, and that really lent itself to about great comedic moments within the film. And also so many side characters, like, oh man, I forgot that woman in Stella who they would talk to at certain times throughout the film. I forgot her name, but she was also very, very good. And also some of the side characters you see within the film are also really, really great. And I thought those were really wonderful too. And that is basically all the good things I want to say about the film. Because there is quite a bit of bad things. Number one, I thought, for the first thing I don't like is that, I think it's like at the 50-minute point, because I think this one's about like 110 minutes long. At the 50-minute point, it's like, from that point on, the comedy was just really bad. It wasn't so great. It's like the first 50 minutes were great. Those ones have some solid comedy. But it was like the last 60% of the film had some really terrible jokes, and just had a lot of failed attempts at humor. And the way, I think at times, like how it kind of ended up, like a lot of people are talking about the unnecessary amount of violence in the film. Honestly, I actually thought that was actually really, really funny, because when they made This Is the End, I thought that was a very appropriate film to have a lot of those very much like very, very shock humor type of, very, very controversial, very, very racy type of moments with lowbrow humor and a lot of violent moments within the films. And I thought this film actually, in my view, use that quite appropriately. And I kind of do condone the film quite well for doing that. And I do think those violent moments did lend their own way to making the film actually very, very enjoyable. And also, yes, and also, like, when the film ends, it's like, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't like a great soulful note, but the way it felt when it ended was like, man, alright, that's the film. And I'm just like, that wasn't so like thematic or very, very triumphant. It's like, oh, okay, that's what happens. Bye, everyone. It's like, it seems, I wouldn't say it's kind of rushed, but it seems just it kind of, like, the ending for itself does seem a bit sloppy, and it really felt it felt this kind of sloppy for the main part, for the ending itself. And also the feeling of, like, them feeling that trying to throw this across, taking on this later while you've taken advantage of it, like, has its ideas of genuine moments, but it's like, I don't know what it was, but it's like there's a certain point where it's just like it kind of chopped everything down, and it was at a 50-minute point. Anything up towards that first 50 minutes of the film was good. It was great. I enjoyed that. It was very good. However, it was like everything after that was. It seemed like it took a big, gigantic nosedive, and I'm just like, oh, no, film, come on. It's like, get that energy, get that passion you had from before into the film, and I'm just like, you dropped it. You fucking dropped the ball. God damn it. And in the end, also, like, sorry, like I said before, that this is like a Ray Park and Seth Rogen type of comedy, and it's like I said before, as a very much of a lowbrow type of humor. And if you're into that, great. If you're not, that's fine. But and I kind of am into that comedy. But it's like if you're into that type of comedy, like Ray Park style type of comedy, then go for it. And in the end, I'm gonna give the movie The Interview about a 55%. Honestly, no. I'm gonna give The Interview a 50%. I'm gonna say it's just worth seeing it just for the build up. Is it anything great or special? No. Like, I'm gonna say this is like on the same level as like Horrible Bosses 2, but it's like it's not as a great art. It's not as great, let's say, as anything like Neighbors or 22 Jump Street. Like, those were great comments. In the end, this is my review of The Interview. I hope you really enjoyed it, everyone. Everything to take into consideration if I've seen the film before or not, everyone. Till then, I will see you in the future for more videos and more entertainment coming your own way. Till then, everyone, I'm signing out. Remember, stay strong.